Welcome to Little John's Yarns. Today we're going to learn how to make this easy, beginner-friendly crochet slipper. This crochet slipper is made in one simple flat piece, which is sewn together once completed on the bottom and closed in on the toe. So the sizes that I'm going to be giving for this tutorial are small, medium, large, and extra large. And remember, you can follow along to the free written pattern, which will be down in the description box below. So the materials that we'll need for this pattern, we'll be needing a 5mm crochet hook. You'll also need a needle for the toe, and we'll be using Bravo worsted weight yarn, which was provided by We Crochet. You can find all that information down in the description box below. So let's hop into it. Before we get started, I want you to please check your gauge. Everybody's crochet tension is different and every worsted weight yarn is not the same. So to get the proper fit, check your gauge. All right, to begin, we're going to start with a chain, and we're not going to be chaining too tightly so we can work back into it. But when you start, make sure you have a long tail for sewing later. This long tail will create the closure for your slipper. So let's start our chains. For a size small, you're going to chain 36. For a size medium, you're going to chain 39. For a size large, you're going to chain 43. And for a size extra large, you're going to chain 45 stitches. So pause your video here and I'll meet you at the completion of those. We've completed our beginning chain. Now you're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook right here. And once you have that, you're just going to single crochet in each one of your chains all the way across. So you can pause your video here, continue placing one single crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you at the other side. We've made it to the end of row 1, and check your stitch count. For a size small, you should have 35 stitches. Size medium, you should have 38. For a size large, you should have 42 stitches. And for a size extra large, you should have 44 stitches. So to begin row 2, this is going to be a pattern repeat for the next 12 rows. It's real simple. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to single crochet back into that very first stitch right here. And we're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. And that is going to be our pattern repeat for a total of 12 rows. So single crochet in each stitch across for a total of 12 rows. Pause the video here and I'll meet you back when you're done. If you're following along to the written pattern, we just completed row number 13. So now let's go on to row number 14. We're going to chain 1, turn your work. For a size small, we're going to single crochet into the next 16 stitches. For a size medium, you're going to single crochet into the next 18 stitches. For a large, 21 stitches, and for extra large, you're going to single crochet into the next 23 stitches. So you can pause your video here and continue with those designated stitches. We've just completed row number 14, and for the next 2 rows, we're just going to do a 2-row pattern repeat. Don't worry, it's very easy. So for row number 15, we're just going to chain 1, turn your work, and place 2 single crochets into that first stitch. Now you're just going to single crochet all the way down the remainder of your row. So pause your video here, continue placing single crochets down your row. At the end of row 15, your stitch count should be small 17, medium 19, large 22, and extra large 24. And for now, we're going to start row number 16 for the second part of your pattern repeat. We're just going to chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet in each stitch all the way across. As simple as that. So pause your video here, continue placing 1 single crochet all the way across your work. We've just completed the row and you should still have the same number of stitches. So now we're going to start our pattern repeat. You're going to repeat the last 2 rows 3 more times. So the first part of the repeat is 2 single crochets in the first stitch, single crochet all the way across. The second part is single crochet all the way across. What you're doing, you're creating a peak of your shoe. Let me show you an example right here. So where we're at on a pattern, we're creating this part right here to work our way up to the middle like a little slope. So pause your video here, repeat the last 2 rows 3 more times. We're halfway through the pattern, and this is what your work should look like. Now we're going to create the mirror image on the opposite side. As you can see, we sloped up on this way, and now we're going to slope back down to get the mirror image. If you're following along to the pattern, you just completed row number 22. So for your stitch count, a size small should have 20 stitches, medium 22, large 25, and extra large should have 27 stitches. So now we're going to start our next 2-row repeat, which is simple. So what we're going to do for the next row is chain 1. This is row number 23. We're going to skip the very first stitch right here and single crochet into the next stitch. Now single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Pause your video here and I'll meet you at the other side. We made it to the very end of the row and you reduce your stitches by 1. So now for row number 24, the second half of your repeat, we are going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to single crochet in every stitch across, so including the first stitch and every single stitch across. So pause your video here and I'll meet you at the end of this row. We've just completed row number 24 and your stitch count should be for a size small 19, 21 for a medium, 24 for a large, and 26 stitches for extra large. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to repeat the last 2 rows 3 more times. For the next row, we're going to chain 1 and skip the first stitch and single crochet all the way across. For the second part of your repeat, you're just going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So pause your video here, repeat the last 2 rows 3 more times. We've just completed those additional rows, and right now we are on row number 30, but we're not exactly done yet. So for a size small, I want you to chain 20 stitches. For a size medium, I want you to chain 21 stitches. And for a size large and extra large, I want you to chain 22 stitches. So pause your video here and continue with those chains. We just completed our chain. On a stitch count for row number 30 should be 36 for small, 39 for medium, 43 for large, and 45 for extra large. That includes chain stitches. Now for row number 31, what we're going to do is single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And we're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So that includes your chain stitches and your regular single crochets. Pause your video here and I'll meet you at the end of this row. We completed row number 31, and small should have 35 stitches, medium 38, 42 for large, and 44 for extra large. So for the next 12 rows, you're just going to chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch across. As simple as that. So remember, chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch across for the next 12 rows. So pause your video here. I'll meet you at the completion of those 12 rows. I wanted to add, if you make it to this point and you wrap this around your foot and you notice it's not wide enough, you should add matching rows of single crochet to the top and bottom until it fits the width of your foot that you want. Once you get done with those final rows, do not fasten off your end. This is what your slipper should look like. So what we're going to do now is fold our slipper in half. So now we're just going to crochet close the bottom and the sides of the heel. So let me show you how I start. Usually to start, I'll just seam the front and back together. So I'll go into the first 2 stitches on the front panel and the front 2 stitches on the back panel. I'll pull that working loop and I'll work that as my first slip stitch. And we're going to do that all the way down your work, going through the front panel, back panel, and slip stitch. Front panel, oh, there we go, back panel, and slip stitch. We're going to do that all the way down your work, and make sure you don't slip stitch too tight. Pause your video here and I'll meet you when we make it to this corner. We've completed slip stitching across the bottom of the slipper, and now we're just going to repeat the same thing and slip stitch across the heel. So just evenly space your slip stitches going all the way across until you make it to the very end of your heel. So pause your video here and I'll meet you when you get there. Once you're done with the heel, you're just going to fasten off your work. And remember that long tail we left at the beginning? We're going to use that to close off the toe. So you're going to need a needle, and this part is super simple. All you're going to do is take your needle and weave an in and out of the top part of the toe of your slipper. We're going to do that all the way across. So pause your video here and I'll meet you when you make it around. Okay, we made it back around and we're just going to pull this closed so it's nice and tight. And what you're going to do now is make sure you stitch this up real good, because you don't want, like, I don't know, your big toe falling out of it. So go back and forth with your stitches and make sure this toe area is closed up pretty tightly. Okay, I stitched this toe within an inch of his life. So now you're completely all done. Just turn your slipper the right side out and you are all finished with your pattern. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you check out my other slipper tutorials here, and I'll see you all on the very next pattern. Bye guys.